Hello, everybody. How's it going? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. It has been a whirlwind. I thought I would come on for a few moments to share a few words. You've heard me say this before, but I'm telling you, God has this amazing rhythm. He has this amazing frequency. And when you get in rhythm and when you get in step with God, He will blow your mind beyond what you can think, ask, or imagine. And we hear that oftentimes, but I really want you to understand what I'm saying to you. Above what we can think, ask, or imagine, it means if you can think it, if you can fathom it, it's too small for God. God has something greater in store for you. So 2 weeks ago, you guys, 2 weeks now, I was in Africa. And I'm telling you, I was in Ghana and God blew my mind. I went there and we have in our minds what we expect God to do. But again, if we can think it, it's too small for God. So while I was in Africa, I was blessed to be installed as a queen mother. And, queen mothers, really they are a voice for women and girls. And, they're there to really transform and shift atmospheres. And so you talk about being humbled and just in awe of how God moved in that experience. And there's so many other things that I will share with you. But I tell you, I'm in Indianapolis now. And I was installed with a particular brother, Dr. Chika Akua, who I met for the first time in Africa, and I'm here in Indianapolis, Indiana. And what's so amazing, I go and I'm on a radio show with a couple other colleagues, and I'm sitting at the table, and my colleague walks in, he sits down at the table, and he has Dr. Chika's books literally sitting on the table. So how'd you get that? He said, he was in Indianapolis last night. So I text him and he's like, I'm still here and I'm doing a keynote in the morning. Well, guess what, you guys? The keynote was actually in the building a block over from the hotel in which I was staying. So that's how God moves. When you move, He moves just like that. So I was able to go and to experience His keynote. Today I get up and I knew I was supposed to go to a particular church. And I'm telling you, you guys have to be very keen on listening and hearing the voice of God. Some people just hear this very still, small voice. And in order to hear a still small voice, that means you have to sit quiet so you can hear His voice, because sometimes the distractions of life, the people around you, they will have you to miss what the Spirit of the Lord is saying. So I heard in my spirit that I needed to go to this particular church. And I heard this when I first got here. Well, one of my girlfriends, she called and she said, well, let's just go to church on Sunday morning. Well, the same church that I heard in my spirit was the church that she invited me to go to. So I get up, I go to church this morning, and I walk in the door, and Minister Jonathan Nelson he's the psalmist for the morning. Now, Jonathan Nelson was the psalmist at my church in Empowerment Temple in Maryland, but he's here in Indianapolis. So when I say the steps of a righteous woman or man are ordered by the Lord, but again, you have to be in sync, in frequency, in step with God. And a moment ago, I heard in my spirit I was supposed to call my sister, and I called one of my sisters up, and we had such an amazing conversation. There were so many ordained steps within that conversation, ordered conversations, divine moves of God that I know are already taking place and will take place in the future. But had I not obeyed that small, still voice that pick up the phone, I wouldn't have received the blessing of the prayer she prayed over my life. That was a direct confirmation about what I had just talked to my girlfriend about over brunch today. So again, I want you to work really hard to be able to hear the voice of the Lord, that small, still voice. And I'm telling you, sometimes it's not just a small, still voice. It's this really profound voice that He will speak to you. But you have to be intentional about hearing His voice, sitting still, and sometimes just drowning out the noise, getting away from the noise so you can get in alignment with God. One thing that my sister said, it said, God blesses me because I'm so quick to obey His word. And so again, I'll say to you, Yes, when we move, God will move just like that. But there are times where God will give us a directive and we sit on it because we're not sure, we're not certain that we're hearing his voice. But I'm telling you, his sheep know his voice. And so you have to start recognizing and tuning your ear gates, your eye gates, to be able to hear and to see those signs, those miracles, those wonders that are sometimes right there in front of you. So get in step with God, get in frequency, in his rhythm, get in alignment with God, and be quick to obey whatever it is that God tells you to do. And when you do that, guess what? He's going to blow your mind exceedingly, abundantly, above all you can think, ask, or imagine. You keep praying for me, and guess what? I'm going to keep praying for you. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you back soon. I'm off to my next destination, my next ordered step. And I look forward to sharing more about how it is that God is moving in my life. Take good care.